All right, everyone, onward to Floridian politics here. It's just a normal day in Florida, so this doesn't even surprise me. And I doubt that it'll end his political career, because if you've ever been to Florida, you know that the political and justice system there is topsy-turvy. And just think of the 2000 election with pregnant Chads, dimpled Chads, hanging Chads. Come on. Florida's terrible. And people who live in Florida will generally admit to that. Everyone else thinks that it's Miami Beach, Orange Groves, Everglades. You get to see the alligator before it chops your leg off. And no, they don't tell you about the spiders that are as big as my hand. They don't tell you about the rampant poverty or constant chronic problems with police abuse and basically lifelong slavery and prison complex and all of that other stuff. They definitely don't want to talk about Rick Scott being one of the less sleazeball characters down there. But Andrew Gillum is a name that some of you will recognize. He ran for governor in Florida, and he was very, very close to victory. I think that the election was within a couple of points. They had an automatic recount. This was the last gubernatorial election. He almost became governor. He's a Democrat, fairly fresh face in politics. Looked good for the cameras, I suppose. They found him in a hotel room, almost unresponsive, drunk out of his mind, and I'm going to say on other substances for a very good reason, with a dude that was overdosing on methamphetamine. So he was in a hotel room, and I don't know if his wife knew about this, with another man doing drugs and alcohol for a considerable period. And, you know, you can probably guess what I'm considering is the likelihood of the situation. Here's what Gillum says. Gillum says, well, yeah, no, we were hanging out and I got too drunk and I didn't know he was overdosing. Sorry about that. I didn't use any meth. No shenanigans here at all. The more likely possibility is that he went to go and have a gay affair and he did lots of meth and probably went on a bender for multiple days with this dude and also was drunk. And then the cops showed up because the other dude almost died and Gillum was unhelpful because he couldn't even talk. That's what most likely happened. Will this knock him out of Florida politics? No! Try finding a Floridian politician who hasn't had a similar problem of some sort. They're all crooked. You can't be in Florida politics if you're not on the take. So this isn't going to end his career. They'll gloss it over. What'll happen is they'll probably pay the cops. They'll beg the cops not to tell people that it was a gay orgy, basically, and that Gillum is a meth addict. They won't tell him that. They'll make it out as though he was just hanging out with a buddy and he got drunk. And his buddy was a meth head, and he didn't know. He didn't know he had meth in the hotel room. It wasn't his. Not a single rock. And they'll gloss it over. And then ultimately, at the end of the day, if the press ever brings it up, like if he runs again, they'll try to make him a victim. Well, you're just being racist. You're assuming that I must be gay and on drugs because I'm black. I guarantee it'll work in Florida too. It's such a partisan shitfest, half the voters will believe it too. That's the sad part. Floridian politics is crazy. Seriously, Google Floridian news or Florida crime story or anything Florida related in the context of politics or justice. The memes about Florida that you will see. Like, I guess one was a dude bit a pit bull's penis off and just weird shit like that. People like having sex with the neighbor's trees and you know, killing people over a can of soup or something. Weird shit. Part of it's because Florida has a huge drug use problem. And it's not even like it's not even like weed. It's like, you know, straight up meth, crack cocaine and things like that really fuck a person up. You see weird shit. You'd probably find some really great YouTube videos of weirdos in Florida on drugs stumbling around half naked. Or at least you could back when YouTube actually allowed you to find cool shit like that and it wasn't all Justin Bieber concert footage. No, I don't expect it to drop his career. I expect he'll probably run on it. Pretty soon in Florida, the way things are going, that'll be his platform. I had a gay meth orgy before it was cool. I'm progressive. You should vote for me. I did decriminalize methamphetamine. Make it fashionable again to, burn your teeth out of your fucking skull. Don't worry. Dental science has come a long way. There's no risk to meth anymore. They can just take artificial teeth and screw them into my face. They're going to develop, I know what Gillum will do. He'll open up a dentistry clinic and he'll develop a kind of tooth that doesn't dissolve when something that's made with gasoline and battery acid and weird shit like that, I believe, actually makes contact with it. What is meth anyway? I know that when they cook it, it's like a chemical slurry and it crystallizes and it's like, I don't know, dude. The things that humans have invented at some points, it's quite astonishing. I guess that the meth, did the Nazis invent it, if I remember correctly? The primitive form of it, and they mixed it with cocaine and gave it to people to make them march longer? I think so. I think they called it marching powder, and I'm pretty sure that that's actually true and not an urban legend. Anyway, I guess Gillum is a Nazi then, except he's got a D after his name, so that's impossible. He'll probably be back. He'll probably do it again. You'll probably hear about this. He'll act repentant. Oh yeah, I know I've got an alcoholism problem. Sorry about that. He won't even address, having an affair on his wife with another man. He won't even address the meth. And he'll act repentant, and then 5 years later we'll find out he kept doing it. Because it's just his habit. And he probably is a drunk, but he's probably also a drug head, and he's probably also having affairs on his wife. It's funny because 10 years ago, the big part would be the gayness of it. Now the big part is definitely not. Now the big part is just the affair itself. Times have changed. I mean, for the better in some ways, but come on. He's going to pretend like he's cleaning himself up. He'll do the Ted Haggart thing. Ted Haggart had a similar thing. He was a big-time evangelist. I've talked about him before. And his big thing was being anti-gay. He was marriage is a man and a woman and anything else is sodomy. And anti-drug. Drugs are the devil's gateway. Drugs make you a communist and stupid shit like that you got back in 80s and 90s televangelism. Huge congregation. He was the McMansion sort of evangelical. He was like the premier, like a Peter Popoff sort of character. Somebody like that. Anyway, they found him with, I think, a teenaged gay prostitute and a bunch of meth and crack after a multi-day bender. And he came out and he's like, okay, I'm gay, but it's okay to be gay, just don't do gay stuff. Yeah, I have to keep it in my pants and only screw my wife. And it was just oozed stupidity. The fact that people still give him a congregation, he's still got a ministry going on with thousands of people in attendance. People still listen to this fucking fool. This just goes to show you the limitless capability of people to just sort of believe bullshit. They'll just go along with the lie. I guess they don't want to believe that it's true. They don't want to believe that the savior of anti-homosexuality was actually, he's homosexual. And he did gay stuff with like a teenaged hooker while he was high on his balls. And this is almost an exact similar scenario. Except that, of course, he's a Democrat. He's not a televangelist, so at least he's not being a hypocrite. I wonder, does his wife care more about the fact that he had an affair or the fact that it was an affair with another man? That's what I'd like to know. Who knows? It's Florida. I suppose we can be happy. There were no animals involved. There weren't kids involved. There wasn't any truly weird shit other than, I guess, the fact that there was meth there. And Gillum, he's not going to face a day in jail because of that. They're not going to go fucking arrest him. The other dude will take the fall anyway because he knows Gillum's money is good. He'll take the fall for minor possession of a little bit of crystal meth and say, okay, and put me in the county jail for 2 weeks. And then I get $1,000 for that 2 weeks. Wow, I can go and buy more meth. And in Florida, the cops will know that that's what's happening, and they won't goddamn do jack shit. You fucking watch. That's about all. Peace out.